up too.
Let me fix that. Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? It's your boy BBO Boxing. It's your boy D Free, aka the Oscar De La Hoya hater himself. AKA I don't got no respect for the Great Ring magazine. What's going on with you, brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Hey man,
Let me
so what
see
you think about
something.
Alicia Bumgardner, man, popping dirty, man? That broke my heart when I heard that, man. Salute to my brother Mark Nash. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I had to change some stuff up.
Oh, okay. I was saying, what you think about Alicia Bumgardner, man, popping dirty, man?
Man, I mean, I I I kind of had a feeling she something was up with her dramatic change in her body shape. But I like I always say, I don't put that jacket on nobody unless something comes up. And so I just let my assumptions stay to myself. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you could see from the time when she started fighting. Now I mean, you could have said, okay, she might have been lifting weights or whatever, and she just got big from lifting weights. But it's just like she never had a gas tank problem until later, until she got up in her weight class. She started
Mm-hmm.
moving up. She started having a gas tank problem, and that's because you putting on that extra weight and you ain't training. So if you putting on extra weight and you're not doing the training, then you might be sparring and going through the motions as far as boxing wise, but you ain't doing no real training.
Yeah.
So um that I mean we saw with Canelo. He once they caught him with his drug test, he started having gas tank problems and stuff like that. So I mean, it is what it is when you on something. Now she came out and she said she did a test on July 12th and it came back negative, but the test that they did on July 16th, or I think it was something like that. It was like the day. I think she said she did a test on July 12th and it came back negative, and then they did a test July 16th or July 15th or something like that, and it came back positive. But they said it's multiple tests. It's not just one test. It's multiple tests that she failed. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I mean, I don't know if it's something that she's doing. That she took accountability for it. She says she's responsible for whatever goes in her body. It's not on nobody else, it's on her. But at the same token, I mean, when you're an athlete, you supposed to know whatever you eating, whatever you injecting, you supposed to know what's in that, because you know that you do VADA testing and stuff like that. So you supposed to say, hey, you supposed to ask questions, you supposed to read and make sure that you're not putting something that doesn't belong in your body. And that goes for all athletes. I don't care if you play basketball, football, soccer, baseball. I don't care what sport you win. If you know that they does testing for steroids or whatever, you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to do your research and make sure you're not putting nothing in your body that doesn't belong in it. So it's on her. She's gonna have to live with the consequences, because we started to see more and more of these athletes and these boxers getting caught with these testers. So they starting to crack down on it. It's not like no, you get a slap on the wrist, and being though, I mean, I hate to say it, but being though she's a black female, I mean, you already know they looking to try to get her up out of there because she didn't beat
What the
some.
fuck you say?
That female ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
No, I'm saying she beat some of the fighters that they like. I mean, we saw she just got finished beating
Hey, you know, whenever D freaking talking like that, all I
You
can
don't
do
know shit about boxing.
yeah, you know damn well boxing is made on racial aspects. So we already know what that is. But like I said, they're gonna look to throw the book at her. I'm telling you, if it comes back and she
as
can't.
they should,
I
man.
mean, yeah, they should. But I'm just saying, we saw Canelo wrist. Canelo got
Hey,
slapped on the wrist. He got suspended for 6 months.
you know what's funny, man? That boy D Free deserved 5 lashes for that, man. It's making, making excuses for it, man. Hey, but salute to my brother. Capping out for Alicia Bumgardner. I'm gonna tell you this, man. It just proves what everybody know, man. She got in incredible shape out of nowhere. She put on a lot of muscle mass, and she's not the biggest woman. She's a little woman, and she put on a lot of muscle mass. And like you said, as soon as she did that, all of a sudden she, huffing and puffing at the end of these rounds, throwing more punches than we ever seen her throw. I think her last one, she was averaging about 60 punches a round, which is unheard of for her. So it's like, at the end of the day, man, we got to be hard on her just like we hard on anybody else, Pauls, that's doing some cheap stuff like that. I mean, you could be like my man D3, the politician, and apologize and say she made a mistake. And there's all this capping that he do, man. But where's your pom-poms at, man? Because you need your pom-poms on that, man. Because what you just said was, oh, she didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. I feel like this, man.
I don't hate the kid.
You don't?
I don't hate the kid, but I just like to put him in the hospital, though. I like to.
But the funny thing is,
I'm not taking up for her. What I said is she took responsibility for it, because we saw what happened with daggone Conor Ben. That man, I didn't know I ate some eggs or whatever. She ain't go that route. She took responsibility for what happened. So I mean, it is what it is.
It's just tough. It's just tough to see you do that, man, because when it comes to other fighters, you're not doing that. You're not making. If that was, you was just about to go crazy on Canelo, talking about, oh yeah, Canelo, he cheated. He started having all these gaps. Man, that was like 5-6 years ago. You still bringing that up?
I said we saw what happened with Canelo. He cheated. He got a slap on the wrist. He got suspended for 6 months.
He had a bad burger, man. He had a bad burger. It wasn't on purpose.
Man, it wasn't no damn bad burger, nothing. This nigga Canelo.
I don't hate the kid.
You don't?
I don't hate the kid, but I just like to put him in the hospital, though.
Man, this nigga Canelo is worth over $100 million. You think that he don't know what's going in his food? He has his own personal chef. He ain't going to no daggone fast food restaurant eating some daggone wild boar, none of that bullshit. That man, that's all cat.
Oh, that's so.
I mean, we saw Oscar Valdez. I didn't even gotta say Canelo. Look at Oscar Valdez. They said it was some tea that he had, and they didn't give him no suspension.
I mean, because what they said was this:
wake up, nigga. We gotta get this money.
Well, all I know is she the only one took responsibility for what happened. Everybody else making an excuse why something happened. We saw what happened with daggone Hannah Gabriel. She talking about, I had some cream that I rub on the belly of my dog and it got in my skin and all this other stuff. So I'm just giving Alicia Bumgardner her props for taking responsibility. Everybody else making an excuse why something happened.
Yeah, I mean, when I heard the excuse, that's all I could
Fuck Fred, fuck Howard, and fuck all of them.
What about Rob then?
Yeah, man, you won't call it out, bro. I know you won't do it, man. I know you.
Like I said, I just give her props for taking responsibility, but what she did, it ain't no boxing ain't no place for it. I mean, no sports period, because everybody else got to train. You train the right way. You should be able to train the right way too. If you're not that good, you're just not that good. Simple as that.
I respect what you're saying. I'll tell you one thing too. I did some homework, man. I watched the Oscar versus Sweet Pea fight, the fight that you love to cap about. And I'm gonna tell you this: Sweet Pea made Oscar look a fool with all the missing. That's what it was.
I'm trying to
Oscar
say
looked a fool with all the missing, but Oscar beat him to death.
No, Oscar did not beat him to death. You just said he made Oscar look like a fool with all the missing. So
he was just missing him. I mean, I don't know what Oscar was doing, but he just made him miss. He made him miss.
Even if, like I said, even if you give him the win, it's a win. But he ain't beat.
It's not a win. But you know what's funny? And think about this: he beat a Sweet Pea coming off, knocking somebody off for the WBC title. You know, he came in there, put on a beautiful performance. Don't get me wrong; he looked like Pernell Whitaker. And the thing also I didn't realize that Pernell was actually a shorter fighter than Floyd. He was only 5'6". So he was a little guy doing all that.
Pernell's small. Well,
yeah, so I didn't.
God rest his soul.
Whoa, this guy here, man. Yo, that was crazy.
Pernell's a short guy. He ain't too much taller than Tank Davis. Tank Davis 5'5".
Yeah, he about maybe a little bit taller than Tank, like you said. But when you watch that fight on playback, I mean, the fact that Oscar was just missing, that was just the part that's for all the people who be capping, man. He was just missing a lot. And I tell you this, man, if it was roles reversed, if that was Oscar making Pinnell miss, you would have said, "Oh man, that all the Mexican did do was just move." That's all he did, and none of those punches hurt Oscar. None of them.
No.
Oscar was walking through him. He looked terrific.
See, this is the difference between me and you. This is the difference between me and you. I call it straight down the middle. Just like when I said with the Devin Haney and Lomachenko, I said I have no problem with some people saying they see it went Lomachenko way, with some people saying they seen it Devin Haney way, with some people saying they seen it as a draw. I have no problem with that because it was that close of a fight. I have no problem with it. I call it straight down the middle. It was that close of a fight. Devin Haney, for him being the taller fighter with the longer arm reach, it should have never been that close. But that shows how good that Lomachenko really is. And like I said, the thing about Lomachenko, I knew that he had skills. I just didn't like all that extra sauce that Bob Arum was putting on his name. He's the greatest thing since Muhammad Ali. He's better than Floyd Mayweather. I was like, dog, let Lomachenko just be Lomachenko. He's not as good as you claiming him to be. What's going on, K-Rob? He's not as good as you claiming him to be. He just
missed it. You just missed it. Salute to you for turning in, smash that like button. But you just missed this complete apology tour your boy D3 is going on for Alicia Bumgardner.
I ain't never apologized for it. It was crazy. And everybody gonna see it. They're gonna like, this nigga B.O. stay capping. D3 did not apologize for Alicia Bumgardner.
Hey, you know what's so funny, man? Well, people watch the playback and they be like, man, this dude D3 be capping.
No,
and it's funny because
no, they're not. They're gonna say D3 is the reason why this show got integrity.
You know, D3 capped so hard, man. I thought he was on a take, man. You know, so apparently Alicia made a mistake. What do you say? Did you say she drank the wrong apple juice or something? So she
no, I didn't say she drank the wrong nothing. I ain't say nothing like that.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. What did you think about the Canelo and Iron Man Charlo press conferences, man? I was impressed on the kind of shape that the Iron Man came in. He looked like a light heavyweight, man. What did you think?
I told you that Charlo was the bigger fighter. I told you he's no homo. He's bigger than Canelo. I've been told you that.
Whoa.
I said no homo. I've been told.
Hey, when I say this though, I'll say this. I didn't realize that Charlo was in that kind of shape, man. Respect. I didn't know he was. You know what? He looked. It looked like a bodybuilder coming in there, man. This dude came in there in great shape, and you know, and that, as D3 said, I will give him this. He did say that Canelo was the taller man, and he looked like the stronger man. And Canelo said something very telling. The part that got me was when I seen Canelo thank Al Heyman twice in that first press conference.
You know, he ain't the only one.
And people don't even realize this. Canelo actually came to Cleveland, Ohio. You know, a place that D3 talks so crazy about. You know, it's Ohio boy.
What I'd say is this, murder. It's us Ohio boys. You know how we get. You know how us Ohio niggas get out, nigga. Ohio nigga, double O. What's up, yo? Yeah. Columbus, Akron, Cleveland, Springfield, Dayton, Youngstown. What's up, y'all? Cincinnati too. I forget about you. You know I love y'all niggas.
You know, every time you play that, our ratings go down.
Hey, man, people like Killer, man. People like Killer, man. But you know, the funny thing is the fact that this is the funny thing about Al Heyman. All the talk, you know, that you hear from all these guys, whether it's Bob Arum, for a long time it was Dan Rayfield. Everybody say PBC going out of business. PBC's not doing this. PBC's not doing that. But back-to-back cards, man. You're talking about just terrific cards. I mean, and I've never seen, I'll be honest, I haven't seen Canelo this happy and jovial in a long time. It's almost like a weight been taken off his back.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Canelo is not the only person that's thanking Al Heyman. See, a lot of people didn't want to give Al Heyman his props and didn't want to give us our credit for telling them what it really is. But Bud Crawford came out here and told everybody this week, man, I see what they're doing over there with PBC. I'm glad I didn't take the daggone the $25 million that I offered Earl Spence earlier from the hedge fund people. I'm glad I didn't take that big guarantee, because I would have to pay all this money back. And we've been telling these people for years, this is what the PBC do. This is why they make so much money over there, because you get a small guarantee. You make your money on the back end from the daggone pay-per-view. That's where you make your money at. You make it from the pay-per-view. And now Bud Crawford's seeing that, and he understanding. Oh yeah, PBC, they doing it the right way. And he's giving Al Heyman nothing but praise now.
Hey, we got a special guest in the building, man. You know, we two brothers, man. We got to bring our West Indian brothers in every now and then. Salute to my guy, the West Indian Prince. Manager Marty, what's up with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
Oh man, I'm feeling great, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to my brother up there, D Free. Salute to you, BBO, for allowing me to come on, to your platform, brother. I feel great. I just got finished doing a 2 hour and 45-minute live. The audience was right there. We had about 750 people that was watching live in living color. So I'm glad to be able to shake that off and come over here and support my brother.
Hey, and and when we get a brother like you coming through, first thing I gotta ask you, man. You just missed it. My brother D Free was over on an apology tour, apologizing for Alicia Bumgardner waking up wrong, drank some apple juice or whatever. I don't know. So I want to ask you this, my brother. What happened with Alicia Bumgardner, man?
I don't know, man. All I know is that she tested positive for a pre-fight drug test 3 days before the fight. Of course, they didn't get the results right at the same day. But it's unfortunate because I like Alicia. I met her several times. The last time I saw her was back in, I believe, February. We were at a fight. She came to Philly. I'm real cool with her promoter, who's from Renton, Pennsylvania. She's a good lady. She's very humble. We busted up. We took a picture together, and she is she is as sexy as she is on TV as she is in real life, my brother. You know, that always helps. Yeah, because most men want to say it, but you know me, I got the heart of a lion. I got I got the heart of a lion, so I got to keep it 100. But she's just a humble, down to earth young lady, man, and I respect the contributions that she's made in the sport. It is so saddening and heartbreaking to see her name attached to something like this. I mean, it's really sad because it's like she don't look like a person or carry herself like a person that would cheat somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was inadvertent, and I was saying this on my channel earlier. Sometimes you have fighters who will subscribe to taking supplements that may have the ingredients of stuff that's on the banned substance list, and they inadvertently taking these substances because they think the substance is good, but the ingredients is not. And then when it shows up, it's hard for them to explain why they have a positive test. We haven't heard her say anything publicly yet, but I hope this is not true. But we don't know, man.
Well, she did put something out on Twitter. She came out with her explanation. She said she took a test. I think it was the 12th of July or the 13th of July, and she said that test was negative. But then they took another test, and those tests came back positive. She said they took multiple tests and they came back positive. So she said she not making no excuses. She's responsible for what she put in her body, so she's not making no excuses. But she said she don't know how it got in her system.
Yeah, well, they're always going to do. I'm sorry, B.
No. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're always going to do multiple tests. It's standard protocol. That's why they have a sample A and a sample B. And when they have a sample A that's negative, they'll just confirm that with a sample B. But usually when your sample A is positive, you best believe that your sample B gonna come up positive too as an adverse finding.
You know the funny thing about this, man. Now this should be a movie I used to love, man, called Beverly Hills Cop. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell my brother D Free, I'm not going for the banana in the tailpipe, man. I'm not going for that. I'm not going for the banana to tailpipe. I get it, man. This is a straight up, my dog ate my homework type of excuse. We know that, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but the way Alicia Bumgardner looks alone, I don't even see why she would even do something like that. When lose the job, she gonna get paid. I mean, salute to my brother A Hill, my West Side brother, man. Hey, but you know the thing is, man, I expect that kind of stuff from Tony Harrison. That's one thing we're not remembering, that Tony Harrison has dealt with the same thing. So the moment she did with Tony Harrison, she automatically got gas tank issues. She got issues with like you said, run out of gas. It's just like, and then all that stuff. You see all that motion you put on come on, man. That was like overnight. I mean, she went from normal to like a Baywatch chick, like out of nowhere. I enjoy watching her fight. But let me ask you this. On the business side, what do you do with a fighter who tests positive, man?
I can't hear because I think there's a lot of I hear a lot of
let me ask you this. So what I'm saying is so as a manager, man, what would you do if you got a fighter that tests positive and we didn't already spent this money, man?
I'm gonna keep it 100. I would go to the fighter personally, have a private conversation and say, I don't have no control over you lying to the public. I don't have no control of you lying to promoter, but you better not lie to me. That's all I'm saying. Let me know what the real deal is, so I know how to do some public relations on this, because my name is attached to you. The trainer's name is attached to you. The promotion is attached to you. And when you have an adverse finding like this, you know, the promoters, the sponsors, people that put up a lot of money for you to compete, they're going to have a lot of issues with being skeptical, and they don't want to attach their brand or their values or anything close to this. So tell me the truth. Keep it all the way 100 with me, so I know how to really deal with this with integrity. You understand what I'm saying?
I feel what you said.
That's the first thing. The second thing is we got to do damage control. We got to put you on the shelf. I'm going to save me a lot of money by doing that, but we definitely got to keep you in the background. We can't have you on no world tour when you're going to be subjected to be asked some questions. Like, for me, don't go on Twitter. Don't go on nothing. Let them say what they're going to say, and then we come out later on, because when you come out there all quick saying stuff like, oh, man, I don't know what happened. Now you got guys like BBO get on YouTube talking about this guy like, you know, a dog ate my homework. So don't incriminate yourself. Don't try to defend yourself. Let's get all the facts and fall back, because the commission has to get involved now. The sanctioning bodies have to get involved, because she's holding their belts. And see, when you have stuff like this happening, they'll rip your title away, strip you, and then the commissioner will fine you as far as money penalty. So we don't want to release no statements right now. We got to do damage control. You got to fall back out the public's eye.
And you know the funny thing is, you see how Marty just snuck that shot in, that jab in. But you know what? I'm used to it. My brother D Freeze, you know, he's Puerto Rican. You know, you're a West Indian. They've been attacking the black man for 400 years. They've been dealing with this for 400 years, man. So y'all can put them gloves on. Y'all want to attack the black man? That's fine.
No, but I'm just saying, I'm actually giving you credit.
Yeah.
Because you're giving your observation. Excuse me. You're giving your observation. And the thing is, you're supposed to say that, BBO. That's the point. That's why she shouldn't say nothing. Because you're supposed to say that. You're supposed to say that, bro. Because nobody can say, oh, my dog ate my own. If something in your system, that's something that you did that. You see what I'm saying?
And you know the funny thing is, salute to my brother Southwest T, man, my TYT brother, man. We got the salute to Kui as well, always showing love in the chat. I tell you this though, the thing that get me, man, that's the thing that get me. Now, if this was Canelo, and that's why I brought you on, Marty, what would they be saying? Because you know D Free was just up here. Apologize. I thought I was talking to Al Sharpton. You know, he's a DC boy. So you know he ended up talking like Marion Barry, like, oh man, maybe or I don't know. You know, you just missed
bro.
it, man. It was a whole apology tour. I can tell you what, I can see my co-host right now. He would probably be hugging Alicia, saying she made a mistake, forgive her, she didn't give her life back to Christ.
You stay capping. I don't do no apologies for none of these fighters. I hold everybody accountable. I don't do no apologies for. I don't know none of them personally. I don't hold nobody. The only people I know personally are the Russells because that's my family. That's the only ones I know personally. Other than that, I don't know none of these other fighters.
Hey, but that being said, man, what you said was very true. But let me ask you this, Martin. I'm gonna ask you this too as well, D3. Were you guys surprised at the kind of shape that Jermell Charlo came into those press conferences in? I mean, he looked like he was ready to, knock somebody's head off. Did you see that?
I mean, I couldn't. You go ahead, Marty.
You got it, my brother.
No, I was gonna say, I couldn't really tell. I mean, he looked like he in shape, but he had a big sweater on. I couldn't really tell exactly how in shape he is, but I won't be surprised because he's with Derek James. Derek James is going to make sure that he's getting ready for this fight because this is a big fight, and he's about to do what Bud Crawford did. He's trying to set history and become an undisputed in another division. So I wouldn't be surprised because that fight is right around the corner. We in August now. That fight is September 30th. So right. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised. Charlo is always in shape. Errol Spence always in shape. These guys with Derek James, you saw Anthony Joshua just fought. Derek James get these guys in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised. And like my man D said, we 30 days out now at this point. We over 30 days, probably 40 days, and this fight's going to be on and popping. I have a recommendation for Jermell Charlo, and I hope somebody in his camp's listening. I hope somebody's in Errol Spence camp listening to this. You can when you get this BBO at the end, you know how YouTube lets you clip it. You know what I mean? You can go ahead and clip this part, put it out there, because I recommend that Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence in the rematch with Crawford, they need to go hook up with the guy over there. And I'm talking about Victor Conte with the snack program. Yeah, the snack program. You got to go down there and get with the snack program, baby. You just got to go ahead and go get with them, man. Listen, those nutrition benefits, it works wonders. It works magic. Those guys got to go over there and go get strength and conditioning, man.
Hey, you know what's funny, man? Marty just basically said,
I don't hate the kid.
You don't.
I don't hate the kid, but I just like to put him in the hospital, though. I like to
tell you this. The funny thing about that fight was, did you guys see how calm Jermell was? No emotions. He actually see that, Canelo's the real deal. And I can tell you this, man. I just never seen Canelo so happy. So, it's almost like Canelo back when he was young, man. I'm just hoping, because I got Jermell picked to win that fight. I'm just hoping he don't get in there and turn back the hands of time and beat Jermell to death. That's my only thing I'm worried about, because I don't think I've seen Canelo this happy. I mean, have you noticed that as well?
Oh, yeah, I noticed it. And the reason why he's happy is the same reason why Bud Crawford is doing a world tour interviewing all over the world. And the same reason why all the guys over there is doing good. And that's because of the guy that got a last name in the first. His name is Al Heyman, baby. And when you're doing business with Al, he going to make sure you get your biggest payday. And that's why Canelo Alvarez, and I told you when you came on my platform yesterday, he thanked Al Heyman twice at the press conference in New York, brother. And you see even Bud Crawford had to bow down and say, damn, Al was right. Because we got to call a spade now, BBO and D-Free. Terrence Crawford went on IG Live, and he said, oh, man, they tried to F me out of the contract. I knew I was going to get F'd out of the long run, Al Heyman, this and that. But the bottom line is he see for himself, like D-Free said, he see for himself how that black man doing good business and making sure you get money in your pocket. And that's what I like to hear.
Hey, that being said, man, we all know Devin Haney got a huge fight against Regis Prograis coming up. I'm asking you, Marty, and then I'm asking, of course, my brother D-Free, the Oscar hater, a.k.a. he hate Ring Magazine. Let me ask you this, man. Do you think in this fight will prove to us if Devin Haney's the goods or not?
Absolutely not. This fight does not prove to us that he's the goods or not. And I'll tell you why. Because the fans here in American culture, we have this thing in sports. You're only as good as your last fight. In football, you're only as good as your last game. In basketball, you're only as good as your last game. And the reason why I say that, if you look at Regis Prograis' last fight, he didn't look as well. Even Bill Haney had to go there and scout him because they knew they was going to move up and wait and fight this guy.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, in his last fight, he didn't look appealing enough. So most fans would say if Devin Haney beat him, Devin's not going to get the credit because he ain't look good in his last fight. Whereas though with Devin, he was in a barn banger with Lomachenko. You understand?
Sure.
So we always basing things in American culture. We're programmed to base things off of our last fight when it comes to these fighters. But what I really would want Tank to do, Devin to do was fight Tank Davis. That would show us the barometer level that he's on and get the biggest payday of his career. And thinking about how Bill Haney was going back and forth talking about Tank Davis, disrespecting him, his mother, his girlfriend, and all this type of stuff. And Tank, coming back at them too. It's like y'all been going back and forth for over a year or two, even when y'all both have fights going on. So it's like now that it's here, I want y'all to fight each other because the bottom line is it's all about maximizing our earning potential as managers, fighters, promoters. And I don't think Devin Haney's going to maximize his earning potential fighting a Regis. No disrespect to Regis. I think he's a skillful fighter, but Regis is not selling a whole bunch of tickets, making a whole lot of noise. So you go from fighting Lomachenko to fighting Regis. No, in boxing, you go from fighting Lomachenko, then you go up and level up opposition, and then you go and fight Tank Davis.
You mean
Tio Teofimo, who's a big ticket seller, Teofimo, especially in New York. You know what I mean? So when you look at
repeat that for my brother D3. He never heard of Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, I think he does.
Two-time undisputed champion. He hadn't heard about this kid yet.
But that's what I'm saying. You got to move up in your level. See, we criticize Terrence Crawford for fighting all of these low-level guys, fighting David Amnesia and these guys. But then when it comes to certain fighters, people don't want to point out the same truth. And it applies to Devin Haney too. You don't want to fight Loma, get a big payday, and then turn around and then fight somebody like, no disrespect to Regis, give him a shot, but you moving up into a division of a 140. Go fight the guy who, is the big money guy in 140, and that's Teofimo Lopez, at least, if you ain't going to fight Tank. But, it is what it is. They just scouting for easy work, and hopefully Devin wins. But even if he don't win, he's still undisputed at 35. Right. And now we know he ain't going to go back down there, so apparently he's going to relinquish the titles, and then Shakur is going to take over.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything Marty said. And see, that's one of the reasons why I kind of knock Devin Haney. I understand Devin Haney's going up there to fight for a belt. I understand he's getting a belt at that division. But the thing is, how much money are you going to make off that fight? Because like we said, Regis is not a big seller. He's not a household name. So you going up there to get a belt, but you taking a pay cut because you just coming off this fight with Lomachenko. You're not going to make the same amount of money you made with Lomachenko because that was on pay-per-view. Whether they said they broke even or whatever, you still got your money for that. You still got your money. The promotional company might have broke even, but you got your money. So you're not going to make that. I don't know if this Regis fight is going to be on pay-per-view. Some people saying it is, but I don't know. I don't see how it's on pay-per-view because Regis is not a big seller. So he's going to take a pay cut fighting Regis Prograis.
I heard it was going to be on UPN.
Oh, that's even worse.
No,
you playing BBO.
Yeah, he playing.
I think it's going to be on his own.
The reason I say that, man, and it's the thing. When you watch a guy like Regis Prograis, we both know that they seen him have his worst performance of his career. That was his worst performance. We never seen Regis look like that. He coming off 4 straight knockouts. So he gets in there with Gorilla, who's an underrated boxer, who knocked him down first round. And really after that, he got beat to death. But let's just remember, Regis has always struggled with tall, long fighters. And, Zorilla was the exact same thing. I think what Devin Haney has to do, man, and people don't believe me, he's got to get rid of his dad in his corner. And as you always say, Marty, he needs better representation because the kind of clownery that you're seeing with him, I'm sure a guy like you might even get that same money without all the buffoonery, I've never seen a fighter make people hate him. The stuff that Bill Haney is doing, it's not even Devin. People hate Bill Haney so much that it's starting to fall off on Devin because we see what he's doing. All he does is get his son with these legendary or good trainers The moment he feel like his son go on autopilot, he take him away and he want to train him. We all heard in the doggone fight with Loma where he said, "Hey, I want you to use your brick hand." Now, unless he got a physical brick in his hand, I've never heard of Devin Haney having a brick hand. We seen Devin Haney punching George Kambosos flush, and he wasn't moving. So it's just at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with it. He's like a Paulie Malignaggi when I say he got to use his brains. He's not going to knock you out of there. He's not going to beat you out of there. You got to just use your mind. And that's just what it is, man. And salute to my brother Southwest T, who's sitting there capping saying Devin fighting for legacy. That's not true. If Tio was fighting for legacy, we all know he would have moved heaven and earth to fight Sugar Shakur. And I'm telling you, and I want to ask you guys this.
I wouldn't say that. It's more of a legacy fight of him going up and fighting at 144 belt than a fight Shakur. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Shakur don't have a household name. And right now, Shakur doesn't have a belt. Shakur just moved to the division. So it's more of a legacy fight, him fighting Regis, and it's for a belt. So he will be a 2-division champion. So that's more of a legacy fight than fight Shakur right at this moment. Now, Shakur, I'm not saying later on in the career, don't fight Shakur, because I believe Shakur is the goods, and Shakur is going to be one of those guys that he's going to have to end up fighting at some point in their career.
You know what I want to bring up to you guys, and I'm saying this, and I like to have some fun, of course. But do you guys see Sugar Shakur almost being a fan, or I don't know what you call him? Is he a roadie for Bud Crawford, or what is he? Every time I see him in there, it's like is that Bud's personal secretary, or
no? It's somebody he look up to. It's somebody he look up to. He's in his camp, and that's like his big brother. It's just like you coming up, and your brother playing sports. You're gonna be backing your brother because that's your brother. That's how he at Crawford as his big brother, and he's a 2-division champion. That's his big brother. They in the same camp. He's like, my big brother 2-division champ. Nobody ever did that in the 4-belt era. So I mean, I look at it like that. I don't look at it as, I mean, you can say a fan because
no one's ever done that. Can I actually? You said no one's ever done that.
No, nobody's done it in the 4-belt era. They haven't been a 2-division.
Let me ask you this. Did Josh Taylor lose any of those belts in the ring?
It doesn't matter if he lost in the ring.
I'm asking. Did he lose any of his belts in the ring?
No, it doesn't matter. He lost his belts.
And then
I know what you're about to say. No. Tio was never undisputed in 1 division, so he wasn't undisputed in 2 division. I want you to settle that for me, Marty. You're an unbiased brother, man. You're a Philly boy. You're gonna keep it real, man. Tell me, at the end of the day, man, was Tio ever undisputed? I'm gonna leave it with you. Or was he shafted out of opportunity to be undisputed? What do you think?
I think that Teofimo Lopez, he had the potential to be undisputed.
Mm-hmm.
Teofimo Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
But see, what it is if you're going to say that about Devin Haney with his representation and his father,
mm-hmm.
the same thing goes for Teofimo Sr. If Devin got to let Bill go, he got to let his dad go too, brother. He got to let, because a lot of time with these dads, they get with their sons, and I'm not saying Tio or Bill, I'm just saying what usually happens. They start to live vicariously through their sons because their sons may have went farther than they could even imagine within themselves. And what happens is, and I think Angel Garcia from my city, Danny Garcia's father had to start realizing, like, dude, when you start writing checks, you letting your son have to sit there and have to cash that. So don't keep talking all crazy about the opponent, because your son got to get in there and produce. And if he doesn't, your son's going to be the one getting criticized, not you. So it's like, I think the fathers at this point, they kind of like, they make it worse for their sons at some point because it adds more pressure. It adds more pressure to them. I think Tio has the talent, but the thing is, when you get Tio in there with somebody that has boxing skills, he struggles a lot. And so that's why it would be a good fight for Tio to fight somebody like a Devin Haney who don't have a lot of punching power but got boxing skill. But if Tio catch up with you, we know Devin Chin is not suspect, but it's it can be cracked. But the thing about it is, you know, when you talk about Shakur Stevenson, I don't think Shakur is a groupie. I think he really does admire Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're from two different parts of the earth at this point. I mean, Shakur is from Newark, and it's real out in Newark, New Jersey. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Shakur be around some real people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, he was around some people out there in Houston, and he sat there and watched somebody, you know, DIE.
Yeah.
But my point is, you know, I think he just admires Crawford. I think it's like equivalent to Adrian Broner, how he admired Floyd. The difference was Shakur's not trying to steal Crawford's style. Like Adrian Broner was mimicking Mayweather's style.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he just admires Crawford. I don't think he's a secretary. He did sound like a secretary by saying to Showtime, "Why did y'all put my face in the thumbnail and not give me no press? Y'all didn't let me y'all ain't put no clips of me out there, even though you know I'm from Top Rank and ESPN." But he wasn't thinking how the business worked when you talk about promotion and advertisement. But at the same time, I just think he admires Crawford. That's his homie. That's his friend.
Salute to my brother Juan, man. He said, "What's good, D3?" Salute to my man Skywalker, my man Ribby, my man Case of Boy. I heard you in there. I seen you in the chat, man. Capping for your boy, Regis Pro Grade. I know you love that New Orleans boy. But the funny thing is, I'm gonna ask you guys this: do you think what's happening with Arthur Beterbiev is a shame that one of the best boxers in the sport that we've ever seen is almost unknown, unappreciated? I don't think I've seen this in a long, long time. Until Andre Ward got those Kovalev fights, I've never seen a guy this talented just almost go ignored. What do you think about that, D3? Is it a travesty what's going on with Arthur Beterbiev, or what do you think?
I think it's the fact of his promotional company don't appreciate good talent, because they can make a lot of money with Arthur Beterbiev, because this man has 100% knockout ratio. He's what, 30, 36, 37 years old. And this man doesn't look like he's slowing down. That's somebody that you should be putting on Front Street, because he's not going to be around too much longer. So you should try to make the most amount of money off of him as you possibly can, because he's an excellent talent, and the sky's the limit for him. But he's not being put in that situation where he can prove how good he really is, because they're not letting him become undisputed, and they're not putting him in there with nobody. I mean, it's not a lot of people at 175, and the ones that are at 175, he's already destroying them. So they should have been promoting him a while ago. They should have been promoting him. So they letting his talent go to waste, because, like I said, he ain't gonna be around too much longer, because of father time, he waits for nobody.
What do you think about that? And this is the thing I want to say before you go, Marty. I've heard that Arthur Beterbiev is getting new representation because he doesn't like what he's getting from his current manager. Is that representation, or is it like what D3 saying, it's the promotional company holding Beterbiev back?
It's always representation, and that's why I speak so frequently about representation in this business. And as I always say on my channel, good representation in this business is priceless. Even though most prize fighters in boxing, they don't want to pay that 20 to 30%. But when you got good representation, there's no value you can put on that. There's no price point, you know. And it's never the promoter. The promoter's job is to go in there, put on shows, invest money, and make an ROI. You know, that's just it's very simple business. And the manager's job is to protect the interest of the fighter as the promoter is doing that. Because if there is no representation, the promoter, once again, is still going to maintain their level of the business concept of less money, more profit. So, you know, if he feel like he need better representation, I think that's a good thing. But maybe the promoters see something that we don't see. His age, as D. Free talked about, and I agree with this on D. Free's part. Because of his age, he doesn't have a lot of time. But then again, when you up there in age, your faculties start diminishing early because of this right here starts softening up. The older you get, the more softer your chin is. You know, when I was sparring, when I was 22 years old, I was a dad married with a lot of kids, and I could take a little punch. Nowadays, I don't know, bro. You know, when you get up there in age, you hit that 35, 38, 40, your punch resistance change. Them little shots B-Hop can take when he was like younger and active, he got up there. He took a lot of punishment when he fought Kovalev. You know what I mean? When he fought Pascal, he got dropped. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, when you get up there in age. And he's an athlete. I'm just talking about a regular person. So maybe the promoters see that because his age better. I always call him Better Be, but
it's either one. But Beterbiev Better Be.
Arthur.
Either
I'll
one.
just say Arthur. Arthur, he's impressive, man. I like him. I'm gonna keep it 100. That man got skills. I really like this guy, and he can go real far. But they gotta hurry up now, like D Free said. They gotta hurry up now. No more waiting. He showed y'all the last fight. You gotta hurry up now. Get him in there. Get him some world titles. Get him some sponsorship. Let this guy make some money. He got a country behind him. You gotta hurry up now because he's almost 40. He don't got a lot of time.
You know what's so funny? If he was to get in there with Bivol, man, he'd beat Bivol to death.
Bivol nice though, man.
I don't think he nice as Beterbiev. What you think? Who you think will win that fight, D Free?
Oh man, that's hard.
You on mute, dog. You on mute. You on mute.
My bad. I think Beterbiev will win only because I don't think that Bivol could hurt him. And the thing is with Beterbiev, if you can't hurt him, he's gonna walk you down. He's gonna walk. He remind me of a 175-pound tank. If you can't hurt him, he's gonna walk you down. And when he walk you down, all it takes is one punch from him. And we seen what his one punch do. He got 100% knockout ratio. He ain't let nobody make it to that final bell. So you gotta hurt him, and you gotta hurt him early. If you don't hurt him and get his respect, he's just gonna walk you down. It's a matter of time before he land one on you. And that's why I don't think Bivol can beat him, because Bivol couldn't hurt. He couldn't hurt Canelo. Canelo tied out, but he never really hurt Canelo. So, and I think Beterbiev's chin is better than Canelo's. I think his chin is better because even though we seen Beterbiev get dropped, but it's like when he got dropped, it woke him up. It wasn't like he got dropped because he was hurt. It's like more so he got woke up and he went on a rampage. And even when he get cut, he see his own blood. He goes on a rampage. So I don't know. You got to hurt that man and make him respect you early. Because if you don't, he's just gonna walk you down. It's a matter of time.
And you know what's so funny? You know what's so funny about boxing? We don't spend. I guarantee you, man, this is the most anybody's ever talked about Arthur Beterbiev ever. Yeah. Because the dude is just a terrific fighter. But and I'm gonna fit it because I'm down here at Disney World, man. I want to make sure I can have some fun, so I ain't gonna hold y'all brothers too long. But let me ask y'all this: who is the next fight for Tank? And on top of that, what is Tank's limits? Because I know we can't do too much at 140. What will be his limits at 135? I want you both you brothers to tell me what y'all think.
Well, I mean, I know the fans don't want to hear this, but you remember I'm a business guy.
Yeah.
So I'm a business guy first, and then I'm everything else afterwards. And according to business, his next fight should be Pitbull Cruz. Now, I was at the fight live, Crawford versus Spence. I was there. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Pitbull didn't beat that young boy. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. He didn't beat the young boy. But since the judges saved him, you might as well do that so he can get another big payday and fight Tank. And the reason why I say that is because Pitbull, man, look, his following was all over the arena when I was there. I mean, I know he had a little following, but just being there, they love that boy Pitbull. I mean, his country, everybody was everywhere in there in T-Mobile Arena. So because he has that following and he can sell tickets and he made people believers even in a loss with Tank. Even though they say Tank, one of his hands was injured. The bottom line is he's one of the only guys that did not get knocked out or knocked down by Tank. So having a rematch is really good to be able to build that up in the promotion, those facts. But at the same time, we got a country behind him. And we already know, and I told you this when you came on my panel, that Tank Davis don't fight African Americans. And that's just how that is right now. It's just business. It's not racial. So let him fight Pitbull Cruz. Win, lose, or draw, it don't make no difference. And I just think that if he can't make that weight no more, which we all know he can't like that, because he's almost 30 years old, go up to 140, get a couple fights. Tank got enough money, he can retire. He got to get his legal issues together, man. He got to get his legal issues together. That's going to mess up the money.
Is that true? Is that true about did you see that article on the Wall Street Journal where they said he had to give, I think it was either whoever's promotional company 30% of that 50 million? Is that a true deal? 30%?
That's absolutely. That's standard.
Oh my God.
That's standard in boxing. And that's being generous. The maximum is 33 1/3. 33.3. So 30% that's generous.
I like how that smile came on your face when you said that.
That's generous. But if he fight Pitbull Cruz, he can cash out again. I mean, think about it in this regard. The man just fought in January of this year, Hector Garcia. Then he came out with that big, massive fight, massive payday, massive pay-per-view buys 90 days later with Ryan Garcia. If he can close the year out, and I say close the year out because the fans still have Pitbull Cruz last fight in their minds from a few weeks ago. So let that marinate. I would say December, early January, February. Let him fight Pitbull Cruz. Let them guys make that big payday, and then whatever happens next at the 140 mark, let him move up a little bit to 140 in his career at 140 with maybe two fights, and he's done.
So no 147?
No. I know Crawford said he's trying to wait for him. Absolutely not. His frame won't carry 147. His height won't carry it with his weight. You're looking at guys like Mike Tyson, who didn't have the height, but he had the frame to be in that division, the heavyweight division. Who else? Evander Holyfield didn't have the height, but he had the frame where his body can naturally develop into that heavyweight division to make him last. And I don't see that for Tank Davis. There's no point of Tank Davis going to 147. I mean, when you got fighters going up in weight, they're putting on this natural weight, but they're fighting guys who are naturally bigger that's coming down. So when it's time to rehydrate the next day after the weigh-in, he's going to be in there with a guy walking around 165, 170 in that division. And it just makes absolutely no sense. That's like Boots fighting Tank. If Boots got the titles, nobody want to see Tank go all the way up there to fight no Boots. I mean, Boots been at the division for too long. I'm talking about as far as at that time that these guys fight. So it's like, no, stay at the lower weights, go up to 140, get 2 more fights in. If you can catch Devin over there or Shakur, let that be your last joint and just back out. Because he don't fight for belts, BVO. He don't fight for belts.
He said so all the time.
So he's not chasing no belts.
Yeah.
So what you waiting for? You see what I'm saying?
And you know what's funny? This is the thing that get me about Tank, and I respect it because you got to make money. At the end of the day, it's almost like he took on that same thing Floyd, where Floyd was so angry his last second half of his career. People forget how angry Floyd was. Floyd used to blow kisses to the crowd, all that. When he came back as Money Mayweather, all that stopped. And I don't understand how. Maybe it's just about the money because it seemed like Tank don't care at all about a belt. He's a one division champion. I haven't seen him get no shots at belts, never even shown any interest, man. But D Free, I want to ask you that same question. What you think, man, is next for Tank, and what does he start?
I kind of agree with Mario. I said it one time earlier on our show. I want to see him in there with a Frank Martin, a Shakur Stevenson, but if those fights doesn't come around, he's going to go with whatever fight get him the biggest bag. Tank is looking for the biggest bag, and right now, although a lot of people hate to say it, Pitbull Cruz is the biggest bag right now because, like Marty said, he's the only fighter that went 12 rounds with Tank Davis. He's the only fighter that Tank Davis never knocked down, even though we all know the circumstance of that situation, but he still did it. So they can build a promotion behind that, and we all know how the Mexican fan base is. They want to get behind their fighters. And that's one thing that Pitbull Cruz got. And he like he said, he was at the arena. I was at the Spence Ugas fight. And when Pitbull Cruz came out there, that crowd erupt when Pitbull was announced. They erupt. And so they want to come out and show out for Pitbull Cruz, especially they know that Pitbull Cruz just went 12 rounds. They're gonna think that Pitbull Cruz gonna beat Tank Davis because a lot of them think that he beat him the first time. So they're gonna pay for that. So that is the biggest money fight right now in that division, unless he gets somebody like a Loma. Loma might be a bigger fight just because of the name of Loma, but I don't know how much bigger it will be, because I mean they got history. A lot of people wanted to see that fight for a while, so that might be a bigger fight. But Bob right now said he's not trying to make that fight. He's not trying to do no business with Tank Davis. So I don't think he's going to get Shakur or Loma. And I think they talking about Frank Martin might be next in line to fight Shakur for their belt. So the Pitbull Cruz fight might be the next fight for Tank Davis. So I mean, I see it. Oh, and before you go, Manager Marty, I wanted to say I appreciate the live the other day when you sat there and you exposed Rick Glaser. I was there. I was dying. I was like, I know he's gonna catch me. And when he said Bud Crawford turned down other fights, not because the fight, he was like, name two. He said, I didn't say fighters, I said fights. He said, what he didn't realize is you said fights. In order for you to have a fight, you have to have a fighter. So it would have to be a fighter that he turned down. So I'm sitting there, I was like, and he knew he got caught. That's why he got off the phone. I was like, yeah, he know he got caught. I was dying. I was like,
I appreciate that. And I was really, and I told BBO this also before. I wasn't really, at first people thought that I was mad or I felt some type of way because he called me all them names. D Free, you know this. People have called me worse names in my chat and my comment sections over Bud Crawford. So I wasn't worried about him calling me a clown. It was because I was setting him up and he ran. See, I don't care what he was saying. I had something for him. You know, I had a 1-2 punch for him. I hit him with the jab. He went down, took a knee. The ref said, are you going to continue? And he ran out the damn ring. He didn't want the left hook to come behind it or the two. So that's what made me mad. Like I had him and then he got off. But the thing is, Rich Glaser, he knows this business and he knew that I was setting him up by him saying that only world champions at PBC fight once a year. So I started bringing up Crawford as an example. His last 4 fights, he fought once a year and he was with another promotion company, Top Rank. So how can you keep on trying to shed light on something that all promoters do because you hate PBC? He knew where I was going with that. And another point that I was going to make, this is how I know Rich Glaser was capping, is because if you go back and look at the WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF's rules and regulations, even they will tell you that they're world champions that represent their organization fight once every 9 months to defend their mandatory titles. You know what I mean? So if the sanctioning bodies are basically saying that it's okay for world champions to fight once every 9 months or once every year, then what's the problem with
Oh, he cut out.
Yeah, I think he lost service. Hey, but you know what? Salute to my brother, man, Marty, coming through the Roll with the Punches podcast. And you know what's so funny, man? Oh, here you go. Here you go.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know if it was mine's or y'all's. Probably mine's. What I was saying was Rick Glaser saw the setup. The writing was on the wall. I was just getting the air fryer warmed up, and I was basically trying to prove to Rich Glaser that it's not something that PBC does intentionally for just their fighters. Their champions only fight once a year, when Terrence Crawford fought once a year in his last 4 fights, including the David Evanesian fight, which he fought a year after, 13 months to be exact, after Sean Porter, which was a year before Kell Brook fought. So it's like, dude, every promoter does that to protect their world champion. And on top of that, according to the WBC, WBA, WBO, and the IBFs, you know, sanctioning bodies, rules, and regulations, they mandate their champions to fight once every 9 months to defend the title. That's once a year, just off of that fact alone. So how can you then try to point out it's only PBC and Al Heyman? It's his hatred for them, his jealousy for their success, and it might be something else. And I don't want to use the R word, ACISM. All I know is it wasn't righteous. His hatred is not coming from a place of being genuine and righteous. So the point that I'm making is every promoter does that. What's the point of being a world champion if you got to fight 3 times a year? The whole point of me being a world champion as a fighter is so I don't have to fight 3, 4, 5 times a year. You know what I mean? For longevity purposes. What is he talking about? Rick Laser knows the business, but his hatred blinds him to be honest to the fan base.
Yeah. I mean, all and his whole everything he said about PBC was already flawed when he said he hated Al Heyman. Once he said he hated Al Heyman, I couldn't listen to nothing he said because he already got hatred for the man. So anything you say is going to try to belittle that man because you don't like him. That's just like if me and BBO didn't get along. Me and him will be on this live arguing all the time because I don't get along with him. He don't get along with me. So it's not going to work.
You know the funny thing about it, man. I gotta say this, man. The fact that Al Heyman speaks about no one, and everybody got something to say about him, that says a lot.
Because all he do is let his actions speak for itself.
All he do is cash checks, man. That's all I'll do, man.
And he helped other people cash him too.
Yeah, he do.
And
Go ahead.
I gotta respect the guy that makes sure the fighters eat. Rick Glaser did not see the setup. I did something in BBO. You know I'm real slick with my wordplay when I got people that play games and manipulate and gaslight. I said this to Rick Glaser. And D Free, I don't know if you picked this up, but I walked him right into it. I said, you know how we do, man. You know, we both for the fighters making money, man. And he said, no, I don't. Not me. So that's what I wanted to lay the foundation to show the fan base. This guy's not for the fighter. This guy don't care about the fighters. He cares about him and the promoter that he works for. He don't care about making sure these fighters get money, but Al Heyman does. Al Heyman is the one that changed the game so that fighters can basically maximize their earning potential, and snakes like Rich Glaser and the rest of them don't get in the fighter's pocket. I said a story yesterday, BBO, and I hope I can say it again for D Free. I talked about people that I know personally in this business that done business with Rick Glaser. And I'm not using your platform to discredit the guy. D Free brought his name up, so I'm just defending my honor, right? So Rick Glaser is the type of guy who he's a matchmaker. That's what he does. He works for promoters. Basically, he scout the talent, and the promoters say, I'm gonna pay you X, Y, and Z to basically put these fights on, right? So Rich Glaser would go to a fighter. The promoter already told him, look, we're gonna pay this fighter $30,000 to get him to fight. So Rich Glaser go to the fighter. He won't tell him that the promoter got $30,000 for him. He'll go to the fighter and say, yo, we got $15,000 for you. You know, the promoter wants you to fight on this channel or this network. We got $15,000 for you. But by the fighter not understanding the business, he gonna jump on that little $15,000 that he can make in one shot, not understanding the business, not understanding the market value, not understanding his earning potential. He gonna say, all right, $15,000, cool. What he don't know is Rick Glaser took 15 off the top when the promoter cut the check for the 30. Then when the fight is done, Rich Glaser goes to the fighter and say, well, look, you know I gotta get my little 10 to 20% out of the 15. So he's double dipping and he's being dishonest. And Rick Glaser knows I know that, and he know I was gonna bring that up. He did all them tactics to act like he was mad to get the run off. He did that to run off. Like D Free said, it was a tactic. I called him on the phone, BBO. I don't know if you was there. I called the man on the phone.
I see that. That. Hey, but you know what, man? This the funny thing about it. It's crazy that they did it with Don King. They doing it with Al. People forget Al Heyman's used to this. When Al Heyman was in the music business, people forget that Sony Records was sending life-threatening threats to him for giving Michael Jackson all that money. People don't remember that. So that's what Al Heyman's done his whole career, made people rich. You know, people forget Leo Santa Cruz is from a whole different country, whole different culture, and his son, I think it's his first son he had, is named Al, and we know why.
And guess what?
And that say a lot right there.
And guess what? When you can't fight no more physically in that ring, when you're down with Al, he gonna make sure he put a microphone in your hand and you gonna commentate. He's still gonna make sure you get some money.
Hey man, what's the guy? I don't know if you guys heard about. I think it's Castillo. I can't think of his name, but there was a fighter who was hurt very, very bad in the ring with a lot of rabbit punches. I can't think of his name. Deontay Wilder was talking about him. He will never become a father or anything. He ended up getting, real bad, debilitated. I can't think of his name, but people don't know this, but Al Heyman's paying his medical bills right now. I read the whole article about how Al Heyman never had the fighter on his roster. Never had him, but he's paying his medical bills, man. And remember this, D Free. Canelo came to Ohio to see Al Heyman, man. So, because this is my brother, D Free, man. I believe you with this. I believe my brother with this, man.
What I'd say is this, Murder. It's us Ohio boys. You know how we get, you know how us Ohio niggas get down, nigga. Ohio nigga, double O. What's up, yo? Columbus, Akron, Cleveland, Springfield, Dayton, Youngstown. What's up, y'all? Cincinnati, too. I ain't forget about you. You know I love y'all niggas.
I keep telling you, every time you play that, our ratings go down. We just lost 3 subscribers.
Hey, Marty, you know he from DC. Them are brothers that shot at Cam. This brothers that's down with D3. Hey, but I appreciate y'all brothers, man. Salute to my brother Green Light. Salute to my brother Juan. Hey, and we going until next time, my God. Peace.